Snapchat, Snapchat app, check out the tap. What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of ADD on Video. I'm still doing the weird thing with my hands, like I'm going to put a logo there, and who knows? I'm probably not. It's wishful hand gesturing. So in my new office, there's a fun game that people are playing where it's fake fantasy investing. You got $100,000 to start off with. You got to make some investments, watch how they do, try and outdo everybody else that you're playing with, and we reset it every couple months. So every couple months, there's a winner. Around 2 weeks ago from when I'm filming this video, a new stock came into play. Everybody's favorite social media ghost, Snapchat. So that day I bought some Snapchat stocks. I watched them grow that day. I watched them grow the next day. Then I thought about it over the weekend. I showed up Monday morning and I sold them all. And I'm incredibly happy that I did, because if you've seen what their stock price has been like, since those first 2 days of growth, it's done nothing but go down. And I just had a feeling this was going to happen. I thought off the bat there would be some hype around it, but when I really thought about it, Snapchat didn't sound like a great stock to hold in the game or in real life. And I have a confession to make to all of you. I don't really like Snapchat. What? Now I know everybody's thrown aback. Sheldon doesn't like a social network, especially a popular one. And I know that if you watch my videos regularly, and you watch them all the way to the end, A, thank you very, very much for doing so. I appreciate it. But B, you'll notice that I always throw this thing up with all my social networks where you can find me. And right here, let's say around here, we're just guessing where it's going to be, is my Snapchat name. But recently I've been thinking about taking it off of there. Because to be perfectly honest, I don't really use Snapchat anymore. And to be even more honest, I don't know if I ever really loved Snapchat all that much to begin with. Now, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, I think Snapchat was super cool as a social network. Maybe not something you want to invest in for the future, but it had some potential and legs for a little while, especially among young kids. Kids were starting to get worried that their parents are going to see all this social media stuff, all this texting. Snapchat gave them this really interesting way to communicate with their friends and have it disappear so there's no trace or evidence. Evidence makes it sound so sketchy, though, like all kids are criminals. I'm gonna get you, you little whippersnapper. But to kids whose parents just recently invaded their Facebook, this was a fantastic alternative. And Snapchat did a whole bunch of things right. They built mechanics into their app that rewarded you for using it. Like, I think if kids sent a personal message back and forth to each other for like 100 days straight, you got a little emoji or something. And to me, it's just a stupid little emoji. But to some of these kids out there, like, that really meant something. And being rewarded for using this app every day, it kind of gets them hooked. Snapchat then got even smarter and started going to brands and media brands and saying, hey, come create some content for our platform. We'll feature it here. Kids will watch it. You'll hit those target millennials. Everything's going to be awesome. And I think that they were actually making money, although I think their financial stuff before their IPO said that they were never making money, and they might never make money, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. But then people like me came along. And when I say people like me, I mean marketers and advertisers and the such people. And just like everything we touch, we fucking ruin it for everybody else. So I mean, when I first started to hear about Snapchat, I heard it was this cool thing that kids were going back and forth and talking to each other with. It was this new social network, but it was a little more private. Things disappeared. I said, I gotta check this out. But really, I was going to check it out because what I had heard was that people were getting pictures of boobs sent to them, and then they disappeared after. And I said, hey, I want people to send me pictures of their boobs. Not once did anybody ever send me their boobs. I'm just saying. But I got in there and started to play around, and so did the rest of the marketing world. But while we were interested in learning about what these kids were doing and what they thought about the app and how they were using it, a lot of people, and myself included, saying, well, how can I use this to sell shit? Even if that shit was just selling me, which is actually what a lot of people did. But people who aren't as cool and hip as me started experimenting with ways that they could use Snapchat, and I sort of took after some of them. And what a lot of it was that we were doing was using Snapchat just like we went ahead and ruined every other network like Twitter, like Facebook, like television. We turned it into a broadcast medium. It was just, let's push out our own content, let's push out our own agenda, and let's get people to watch it. We weren't using it like the kids were using it. We weren't using it to go back and forth with our best friends all day, one little picture at a time. We only used the story feature. We would do something, whether it was interesting or not, and just broadcast it to the world. Having personal conversations didn't really seem to matter. I'm sure, of course, there's a few people you go really back and forth with. You send them some stuff, something's really cool, you tagged your buddy to make sure that he saw it. For the general part, everybody just started using the stories feature and broadcasting stuff. And a lot of that stuff was boring. Sure, people did some cool things and you saw it. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk throws out a really inspirational quote every third snap he does. It was really fun to use all the little face mask filter lens things, you know, make myself look like a pirate, make myself look like Daft Punk, I don't know, whatever it is I'm doing in this picture. And it was a bit of fun for a while, but it got kind of boring. And what I quickly realized and called it for myself was that Snapchat was stuff I wanted to share, but wasn't interesting enough to be an Instagram post. And to be honest, I think a lot of other people felt that way too. And speaking of Instagram, it was around this time that I figured this out, that Instagram came out with Instagram stories. To put it bluntly, Facebook essentially just knocked off Snapchat and put it right inside Instagram. It's still missing a couple features like the face things, but like guaranteed those are coming soon. And to be perfectly honest, I like Instagram a whole lot better. First of all, I already had an established following there. I've been on Instagram for a couple of years, and, you know, I don't have anything to brag about, but I have people who like seeing my pictures. And another thing I like about Instagram is that it's a lot easier for people to find me. They can search for my name, they could find a link to an Instagram picture of mine through my Twitter or through like my Facebook. I can throw some hashtags in the comments under my picture and people can find them just because they're looking for pictures of sunsets. And this was something that not just I like, but brands like also. Snapchat was a fucking pain in the ass to try and find somebody on there. You either had to have them in your actual phone contacts or know their exact Snapchat name to find them. There was also some weird fucking QR code thing that for some reason you had to actually take a picture of to put it on your phone and then scan it into the app rather than just like holding your phone over your friend's phone and scanning it like people with Blackberries used to do back in the day, or even just regular QR codes that sort of worked. Wow, actually now that I think about it, this thing is worse than regular QR codes. But again, I'm not the only person that feels this way about Snapchat. There's been a bunch of articles about brands who tried to post the exact same story on Instagram and on Snapchat, and they found that just so many more people saw it on Instagram because it was easy to find. They already had an established following base there. And the whole thing is just easier to use in general. Snapchat knows they can't just make it on their own as this little social network, especially because a whole bunch of people feel the same way as me and are leaving the network. I've been reading a bunch of articles lately about how some of the Snapchat superstars are leaving the platform and trying to take their people with them over to Instagram stories for many of the same reasons that I was mentioning, but also because Facebook and Instagram will play nicely with the people who are bringing people into their app, whereas Snapchat won't really talk to anybody unless you're a large brand with large amounts of money to spend with them. But they're trying to reinvent themselves. They now say that they're not just Snapchat, they're a company called Snap. And they're not a social network, they are a camera company. Which so far means they put out these weird, ugly sunglasses looking things that will only take pictures that connect to your Snapchat. And to be honest, I think the pictures that show up from these things look kind of weird anyways. Now, while I'm not ready to leave Snapchat completely just yet, I'm totally not using it as often anymore. At most, I'm just going on to see what kind of face filter thing they have that day that looks funny and I can laugh at myself for a couple of minutes. Sometimes I even just look at the things and don't take a picture or post them anywhere. But I'm not gonna quit it just yet. But I also would not buy their stock now that it's on sale, to bring this thing around in a whole big loop here. And for now, I'll keep the Snapchat symbol up on my little list of social networks here, but don't expect too much from me there. Most of my more fun stuff is on Instagram, and the stories and the regular pictures. Also on my Facebook page and my Twitter, but, you know, follow me on all 4 of them. And I guess that now that I've already put these things up here for you to see and told you all to follow me on all of them, please and thank you. Now's a great time to say goodbye. So I want to know, what do you think about Snapchat in general? What do you think about the stock? Do you use Snapchat still? Do you really care about Snapchat? Would you cry if it was gone tomorrow? Let me know in the comments, which I always say are down there, but now that we're cross-posting these on Facebook, sometimes maybe they'll be there or wherever you can find comments. Leave a comment. Also, do me a favor and please like this video. It helps me to show up in search rankings much better. If you really enjoyed the video, please share it with some friends. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, do all of the things, and you will get so much content from me. Just imagine, more Sheldon for you. And I guess that's it. I'll see you next time.